purpose of Veterans Day is to basically celebrate not a war that we were in, but the fact that we served in combat, or we just served, generally speaking, for our country. You know, what we did for our country. And there's many people that have been in military for in the 20s of years that have never actually had to go into combat. For one soldier in the field, for one combat soldier, the military says it takes 10 behind the scenes to support that combat soldier. So many people were in war zones that were never actually in the war. And I do not begrudge them one little bit. I had no discipline before I was a soldier. If I did, it was a discipline that was basically implied by my grandparents, but there was no strict rules or regulations. You know, being signed at a certain time, something like that. But in the military, you are taught to obey rules and regulations, and there's consequences if you don't, just like there is in everyday life. It disciplined me to realize that other people depended on me being disciplined, as opposed to it just being strictly for me. Showing up to work on time meant somebody else didn't have to do something that I was supposed to do, like stay over and fill my job. Doing the right thing at the right time was always a saying of several of my friends and I. There's rules and there's regulations, but there's a simple fact that you need to do the right thing at the right time. And you know what it is. We don't always do it. As a matter of fact, I have no percentage of the people that don't do the right thing at the right time, but that is what the military taught me. Grit is moving forward when you don't want to, when you think you should be going backwards, making the right calls for yourself and your men, and having men under you that you're responsible for. That's a load that you share with the people above you and the people below you. And sometimes you have to have the grit to make a call that's not popular with other people, but you got to do it for the well-being of the whole. Being in the presence in Vietnam means you're aware of your surroundings at all times. Now, if you're a combat soldier, that's extremely important. That achieves 100% mark. You need to be 100% aware at all times. But that's one thing that it taught me is being in the present means knowing what you need to do right now, being able to do it. And as far as the military is concerned, it's an absolute necessity to be in the presence. You can't be leading a group of soldiers or even yourself, just one person. You can't be running around or walking around thinking about what you're going to do when you get out of the military, not when you're in a combat zone. That could cost your life or the lives of people around you. But yeah, being in the presence is something that people should try to live in everyday life, but it's a necessity and it's taught to you in the military.
Think about this. Why do you do the pledge each morning? When you're pledging allegiance to the flag, you're not merely honoring a piece of material hanging in your classroom. You're honoring a way of life that few nations have ever experienced, that few nations have ever been blessed with, and that, God willing, this nation will never lose. That way of life is freedom. But the price of that freedom is not free, nor has it ever been. The price for that freedom has, in some cases, been extremely high. There are those who have fought for you, defended you, and in some cases, died for you. Some gave all they could give. The proof? Visit the cemetery in Arlington, Virginia, where over 400,000 of our military members who honorably served in times of war are laid to rest. Visit the cemetery in Normandy, France, where 9,387 soldiers died to fight back the empire of evil that had us targeted for invasion. Visit the cemetery in Luxembourg, where 5,070 service members lie, many of whom lost their lives in the Battle of the Bulge as they advanced towards the Rhine River and into Germany. These are the events that public education should be highly focused on today. These are the events of the past that hopefully provide a thoughtful appreciation for the present and inspire a noble generation of patriots for the future. Late in his career, a great patriot, John Wayne, recorded an album entitled America, Why I Love Her. One track from that album, entitled Face the Flag, goes as follows. Face the flag, son. Read what's written there. The history, the progress, and the heritage we share. Do you know what it stands for? What its makers meant? To think, to speak, the privilege of dissent. To think some leaders might be wrong, to stand and tell them so. Well, these are things that other men under other flags will never know. But responsibility, that's the cross that free men must bear. And if you don't accept responsibility, then freedom isn't there. Our flag is a symbol of the world's greatest nation. And as long as it keeps flying, there's cause for freedom celebration. Thank you.